Hey guys, welcome to another episode of No Skunk Adventures. On my recent trip to the Eastern Sierras, I did pretty well, but then some days I did more learning than catching, and this is a compilation of those days, trying to get some input on how I can improve. The first place I got skunked was on the Owens River just below Tinnemaha Reservoir. According to the DFG website, they were supposed to get planted that week. Either they got fished out or they hadn't planted, or I was just in the wrong spot. This next place I'm pulling into is Intake 2, just outside of Bishop. I've seen many videos about this place, but I've never been here. Looks like a place I could handle. They get stocked regularly, but then there's also a lot of pressure and increased pressure because North Lake, South Lake, Lake Sabrina have not been getting stocked. So everybody's coming to Intake 2 and going after the same fish. It is a smaller lake, which I like. That way I don't have to walk all over creation to find the fish. This day I was able to get a few. This first fish I caught on a Sierra Slammer swim bait. On the day that I went, action was just so-so. People were catching fish, but not in big numbers. And it seemed like most of the fish that were being caught were along the face of the dam. The fish that I have on here bit on some power bait. If it's slow, I'll throw some power bait out there while I still work a lure. Shortly after catching this fish, we had a thunderstorm roll in, so I ended up having lunch in my car. Then I went to visit the other lakes in the area. First, I went to South Lake, which I've never been to, and extremely low, as you can see, probably 20-30 feet below capacity. I ended up not throwing my lines out there. Then I went to Lake Sabrina, and that was the same story, very low. So here I'm fishing the creek just below Lake Sabrina. I happened to see some fish from the road, so I decided to do some sight fishing. But I'm sure these fish get a lot of pressure. They're very wary. I was using mini jigs. Got them to follow, but no hits. Tried some power bait at the end, and they'd mouth it, but they wouldn't swallow. So yeah, skunked over here at the creek flowing out of Lake Sabrina. The last lake I visited for the day was North Lake, which I do not recommend. It is a one-way road to get there, one-way dirt road with no rails along the cliffs. I was just lucky to get out of there alive. Welcome to another episode of No Skunk Adventures. Today we're in the Eastern Sierras at the Owens River. First time I've ever been here. We're fishing just outside of Mammoth Lakes at the Benton's Bridge crossing. And to my recollection, upstream of the bridge it is catch and release artificials barbless. And downstream of the bridge, going towards Lake Crowley, no special regulations through the end of July. I'm at the north end of the campground, going to make my way down, hopefully find the fish and get into them. Prior to this week, I probably only had 1 hour experience on my fly rod, and I probably tripled that this week. So by no means am I competent, but I'm much more comfortable than I was a week ago. Getting half a dozen strikes and landing a few fish helps with your confidence as well. I've walked probably 200 yards so far from the bridge and haven't really seen any good pockets of water. But I did come across this dead rainbow, so it shows me that at least there are fish in the system here. So we'll keep walking and look out for them. Moving off my favorite fly to my favorite jig, see if we can catch something on the spinning rod. Good news is I'm going to catch something on the Owens River. Bad news, I'm going to have a GoPro fail. No skunk on the Owens River. This rainbow was caught with a notorious split-tailed minnow. This is my first time on the Owens River, so I'm basically here for kind of on-the-job training, trying to find where the deep pools are, where the fish may hold. Fortunately, I was able to hook up on one fish, so I'm pretty happy about that. Hey guys, just finishing up on the Owens River. Fished for about 2.5 hours. Fished the length of the campground from the bridge to the southern end. You can see the white little hill behind me. Not a lot of fishermen. Looks like it's fished out. I only saw a couple of fish rise. Fortunate to get the one hookup. So no skunk, but good scout trip. I have an idea of where to fish next time. Anytime I go fishing, especially if it's a place I'm not familiar with, I try to gather as much information as possible. That way, I have a higher probability of doing better the next time I go. Most of all, I keep track of who's catching fish and where they're catching fish. Are they in a deep pool? Are they around a bend? Is there some structure underneath the water? Just what factors are leading them to catching at that spot. I'll also be looking to see what they're using, whether it's bait or lures. I may not ask them flat out, but every time they take their line out of the water, you can believe I'm going to be trying to see what they're using. Fish on. Fish on. Little guy. On Convict Lake. No skunk. No, we'll do it this way. Little guy. Go tell your friends. As I was about to leave, I took the chance to take a peek at the bridge and found this nice school of fish. And upon closer look, they were pike minnows up to 14, 16 inches and with a few DFG rainbows dispersed amongst them. I was actually going for the bigger pike minnows just so I could get a big fight, but ended up hooking this rainbow. They're so small, they're going through the...
Fish is looking like I can't. Is there any fish that makes any sense? Dude, there's
The squawfish weren't interested in my presentations. They're actually running away from the salmon eggs and anything I threw out there. So after hooking this second trout, I've decided to pack it up. Before you take your trip into the Sierras, do yourself a favor and look at the DFG website to see what bodies of water have been planted, and then plan your trip accordingly. As always, continue to stay safe out there, enjoy the outdoors. Until next time, no skunk.